Dear Chica, isn't life a mini splendid thing? A strange phenomenon that leaves us baffled time and again. Even as we complacently fill it with predictable elements and tedious essentials, it flips and turns on its head. Just as it did with me recently. Who would have thought that someday, after all these years, I would have the opportunity to address you by this name again? Chica. It seems to drown all the bygone years in a deluge of nostalgia. If time stops to give heaving souls a spur, if life pauses to draw inspiration from its own amazing nature, it is in magical moments like this. It was a moment that lived for its own special purpose. It left me surprised, pleasantly. It didn't thrill my veins. It didn't numb my senses. It merely gave me a gentle nudge and whispered in my ears, "You still live in his heart." It was hard to believe, but the moment was a witness to it. It melted all the years that separated us and thawed all the unpleasant truth of the distant past. In that one moment, I experienced the eternal quality of love. A love that is different from the kind I have known, seen, or experienced. It made me want to cry, not because I didn't have you in my life, but for the reason that it hadn't died despite our own individual lives. 25 years is a long, long time for love to stay alive in the wilderness. We do not realize life's deprivations till we come upon it, do we? We do not know how much a moment, a person is missed till we stumble upon a long forgotten past. And when I stumbled upon it, the sheer magic of the moment made me dizzy, and for an instant I slithered into a trance. It was so surreal. I wish the moment never left me. It makes me think, what is it that remains between us now? What is it that survived the vast expanse of time and life's experiences? I fail to fathom it. In hindsight, I'm not sure if we would have made an ideal couple. We probably couldn't have lived it out together for all the reasons one can give. We didn't even have a distinct relationship. But that doesn't allow me to trivialize that which existed between us in those times. Actually, it wasn't even love, because at that time, I hadn't known love as I know it now. The way I know it from the man in my life, my husband. That's probably why we fell by the wayside. But there was an enchanting quality to what we shared, and how easily we dropped it when circumstances demanded it. We did not even try to decipher the dynamics of our association. We merely glided through its subtle manifestations for a while and parted like fellow passengers in a long-distance train. We didn't even exchange our future coordinates because we knew that would have been superfluous. We set off on our individual journeys in life, not looking back, gracefully accepting that which came along as our chosen destiny. I would be dishonest if I said that you have never appeared in my thoughts in these past years. I have thought of you occasionally, just a flicker now and then, wondering what course your life might have taken, what joys, what sorrows it might have borne. I have been genuinely happy with the way life has treated me and have earnestly wished that you were happy too. There was no way of knowing if you were. So I'm asking you now, are you? Are you happy? This email to you isn't an impulsive response to a chance meeting of that day. It is my conscious effort to touch base with you, not just for old time's sake, but to add value to that special feeling I have always harbored in my heart for you. I still fail to define it, but I'm convinced that there is something alive, smoldering in the deep recesses of my soul. And when I met you, I knew it was alive in you too. Although vestigial, there is something serene and pristine about this emotion which at no point was mere love as the world knows and understands it. Some things in life are beyond reason and comprehension, aren't they? I appreciate you for not walking past me when our paths crossed accidentally. You could have easily pretended to not have noticed. No one likes to carry the weight of the past, much less to rummage through it. Yet, you chose to pause and give the hurried moment a lasting value. I'm grateful to you that despite the changes that might have come to us with time, you gave me a glimpse of that unchangeable past in your eyes. I'm grateful to you for bringing me such unexpected delight. I will not be disappointed if you choose not to send me a reply. I understand your priorities in life and I respect them. If destiny so desires, our paths will cross again. And if the spark in our hearts lives to that day, we will pause again. I wish you happiness always. Charu. Dear Charu, I would be lying if I said that your mail, which read more like a piece of literature than a mere letter, came as a surprise. Not because I had expected you to write to me, but because I had ardently wished you would. I hope you understand the difference between expectation and wish. The difference is in the degree of desire. I'm surprised at the scale of excitement our chance encounter created in me in the past 2 weeks. Truth be said, I had never thought I would see you ever again. We had gone such diverse ways, either by design or by destiny. Isn't it such a blessing that the world is round? And as you rightly said, it was only when I saw you that I realized the enormity of the time and space that had elapsed between us. 25 years since we parted unceremoniously. And I have no explanations to give. I might have been diffident then, unsure or just cowardly to acknowledge that which existed between us, as you subtly term it. You certainly deserved someone better than a gutless bloke like me. I admired the manner in which you took things in your stride when I shamelessly turned away from you. I did not even consider what agony it must have brought upon you. I still do not know why I could never open my heart to you. It was friendship on the surface, but the universe knows that there was more to it than that. And the latent affection of old times returned in that brief moment in the bookshop that day. I could not stop myself from giving you a gentle hug. It was an impulsive way to show my regret at having lost out on something I still value. As you rightly said, it might not have been the best of things to happen to either of us. I do not care to think about the right or wrong of things, especially after the deprivation of these years. It made me happy to see you and let you return to the world from which you had breezed in on that day. I was letting you go for the second time. I knew that you may or may not return. It was likely a mistake the first time, but this time I knew it was not. You had your own place in the world and I had mine. But when you sent me the mail, I understood the old maxim. If you really love something, let it free. If it is yours, it will come back to you. And you came back, though not to be taken into my life, but to be reminded that like me, you too had moments from the past etched in your memory, and that too without malice. It makes that which we share so secretly more sacred. I'm glad we have touched base again. I'm content in the thought that we could be friends again if you so wished. I'll be in town till the end of the month. I hope to see you before I leave, just to catch up on the years. It'll be a great memento for me to take back home, a pleasant memory for me to cherish in the remaining years of my life. Till then, Chica. My dear Chica, do you know what makes me want to meet you again after I received your reply? You're saying, I do not care to think about the right or wrong of things, especially after the deprivation of all these years. The deep sense of having lost out on something precious in life couldn't have hit me harder. You know, I was listening to Rabindra Sangeet as I was reading your mail yesterday. Bhalobashi, Bhalobashi. এই সুরে কাছে দূরে জলে স্থলে বাজায় বাজায় বাঁশি, which in the poet's own translation reads thus: I love is the cry that breaks out from the bosom of earth and water. The sky broods like an aching heart. The horizon is tender like eyes misted with tears. How did the poet who lived several decades ago know what I was going through? I know. Love transcends time and space. What I'm feeling now has been felt by the rest of the universe across millenniums with the same soulful sincerity and unrelenting ache. As I write this to you now, my dusty window pane is receiving rains, and it resembles my tear-streaked face. I'm sure it's raining out there too. Somewhere in the midst of these falling clouds, I see a picture. If thoughts and pictures could carry scents, they will now be smelling of petrichor. I can see you laughing mockingly at the use of that word. I used to call it the rain scent in those days, if you remember. Now I know the right word, petrichor, the smell of the earth. It's a word that I learned after you left me. I've learned many things in the years after that. That I have a soul, for instance, with which alone I could love. I realized that love could spring in all its glorious forms from the eternal source, and we can immortalize it by depositing its essence in the soul. A sort of recycling of love within oneself, you see? Is that what we have been doing unwittingly all these years? Is that why I am unable to break free of you completely? Oh, the phone is ringing. There's someone who wants to thwart this surreal moment. I'll be right back. It was my husband. He apparently has a way of sniffing things out. Why else would he have barged into my thoughts and driven a wedge into my missive of love to you? Yet I felt no prick of conscience when I spoke to him. I should have, don't you think? But no, I didn't feel guilty at all about nursing a parallel love in my heart even as I addressed him endearingly. Not for once did I think I was cheating on him. I love him, and I love you too. Only I will know the difference between the two loves. One came unsought and stayed. The other was sought but went away. They both exist at different levels, one nourishing my life and the other nourishing my spirit. Do you find that difficult to understand? I wonder if that is the way Draupadi loved her 5 husbands, each from a different level of her consciousness, each with a different intensity, with a different purpose. It's a queer allusion to make, isn't it? But I draw no solace nor seek any vindication from Draupadi. My love has its own validation. Neither one is right nor wrong. Neither is dispensable. As the rain that loves all things impartially. Do you know how the rain achieves it? It has no desire to possess that which it loves, just as I have no desire to possess you. We will never belong to each other, yet we will always be of each other. That, in my view, liberates me from any sense of guilt that I ought to have under these circumstances. So I'll come to meet you again before you leave, to reiterate my love that does not seek to possess or hold. Our love will live in a realm of its own, untouched by carnal instincts, a love beyond all written rules and presumed canons. We will be lovers till clouds fall on earth, till rivers meet the sea, and till the sea returns to earth as rain again. As Ruskin Bond wrote, "Who shall set a law to lovers? Love is a law unto itself. Love gained is often lost, and love that is lost is found again." Your Charu.
শিকার বুকের মাঝে ব্যথা বাজে দিগান্তিকার কালো আঁখের জ্বলিয়ে যায় বাঁশি ভালোবাসি 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 শিশুরে সাগর কুলে বাঁধন ফুলে অটল রোদন উঠে দোলে শিশুরে সাগর কুলে বাঁধন ফুলে অটল